This passage has a lot of Israelite names and Israelite place names and tribal names, and so it was kind of hard to get all in my head. I may stumble through part of it, but I made it even worse because the first, I don't know, 6 or 8 verses are nothing but the names of the tribes of Israel, all 12 of them, and the names of each man that Moses sent from each tribe to spy out the land of Canaan, and the names of each of their fathers. Well, it turns out I didn't have to remember any of that. Sherry says, do you want to do that? I said, no. But I do know them now. So if any of you, no, it's too time-consuming, especially after all this talking. But after the service, if any of you want to hear all 12 times, just come see me. All right. This is the story of the Israelites sending men to spy out the land of Canaan prior to deciding whether to go into that land. The Lord said to Moses, "Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each of their ancestral tribes you shall send a man, every one a leader among them." So Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran. Picture a map of the Holy Land with the south on the floor and the north up in the air, the east, the Jordan River, and the west, Mediterranean Sea. The wilderness of Paran is at the very bottom. The wilderness of Zin is above it. The wilderness, or not the wilderness, but the dry area called the Negev is above that, and is kind of, Jerusalem is kind of the northern part of the Negev. The hill country is over here by the Jordan, and of course, it's by the sea is by the sea. And Egypt is way over here to the west and the south. So, Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the command of the Lord. All of them leading men among the Israelites. And here's where all of the tribes and the names come in. And then, these are the names of the people, the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses changed the name of Hoshea, son of Nun, to Joshua. Moses sent the men to spy out the land of Canaan. And he said to them, "Go up there into the Negev and up into the hill country and see what the land is like. See whether the people living in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many. See whether the land they are living in is good or bad, whether the towns they are living in are unwalled or fortified, whether the land is rich or poor, whether it has trees in it or not. Be bold and bring back some of the fruit of the land." This was the season of the first ripe grapes. So the men went up to spy out the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob, near Lebo Hamath, north of Damascus in Syria. They came into the Negev, and they came to Hebron, Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai. The Anakites were there. Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. They came to the Wadi Eshkol, and there they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes, and they carried it on a pole between two of them. They brought also some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Wadi Eshkol because of the cluster that the Israelites cut down from there. Now, after 40 days of spying out the land, they returned. They came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the Israelites gathered in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to the congregation and showed them the fruits of the land. They told Moses, "We have come to the land you sent us to spy out. It flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Yet the people who live in it are strong, and the villages, the towns that they live in, are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites and Jebusites and Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live by the sea and along the Jordan." Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it." Then the men who had gone up there with him said, "We cannot go against this people, for they are stronger than we are." And they began to give an unfavorable account of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we went through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all of the people we saw there were of great size. There are there the Nephilim." The Anakites come from the Nephilim. "And to ourselves, we seem like grasshoppers, and so we seem to them." All the congregation of the Israelites gave a great cry, and that night the people wept. All the Israelites complained against Aaron and Moses. The whole congregation said to them, "Whoa, would that we had died in Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord sending us into this land to be cut down by the sword?" They were wailing so loud it caused them to cough. And they said, would it not be better if we went back to the land of Egypt? So they began to say to each other, let us choose a captain and go back to Egypt. Well, then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the Israelites. And Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes and said, the land through which we went as spies is exceedingly good land. And if we please the Lord, he will bring us into it and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people living in the land, for they are nothing but bread for us. Their protection is removed from them. The Lord is with us. Do not fear them. But the whole congregation threatened to stone them. Then the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all of the Israelites. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.